Alright, welcome back everyone, Zaf here to yet another juicy, virus-filled, soul-organized video. As you can see, I have a ton of custom draw tickets, but who do I summon for? What hunters, what weapons should I put on my raid-up list? Very important. I'm going to answer that for you today, just so you know who to use your summons on so they don't get wasted. Very important, especially if you're free to play. You have to make sure you summon for the right hunters, right weapons, otherwise you'll halt your progress, and you have to wait ages and ages until you can refill all these summons, and trust me, it takes a very long time to get up to 1,000 summons. It just doesn't happen easily, unless you open your wallet and you just start swiping and swiping away. But if you did want some free summons, you can go ahead and support us on Netmarble's free supporter program. Yes, it's free. I had a comment today where they're like, oh my gosh, Zaf, I had no idea it wasn't paid for, that it's free. I'm like, yes, bro, just support. You will get codes sent to you. After about a day, once you support, you get 300,000 gold, 1,000 essence, blessing powders, rune fragments, essence stones, weapon designs, so many awards to give out. You'll get all these codes right here and more. There is always more coming out, so just support, don't think, and you will get awarded. And if you're in our top 10 supporters, and top 100 as well, for our top 10 supporters, you get a custom Discord role of your choosing. And in our top 100, you get an exclusive Discord role, so make sure you support, otherwise you miss out on all this juice. And also, do not forget to subscribe, so close to 100,000. Just press that button if you haven't. That way we reach that juicy milestone together. And finally, what was I talking about? Something about raid-up list? Sorry. And finally, the virus is kicking in for real. A big shout out to you, and enjoy that juicy Season 4 first commenter Discord role. So really quick, for those of you who don't know, if you're the first commenter, you get a shout out and you get an exclusive Discord role. So make sure you race for that spot, otherwise you're also missing out. So much to miss out on. But let's go back to the video. Let's cover the raid-up list. So first off, these are just my opinions. Just because I say something is good doesn't mean you have to summon for it, but I think based on how long I've been playing for, I do have a general sense of what's good. Don't copy my raid-up list though. I already have a bunch of A10s, both on the weapons and hunter side, so mine's gonna look much different than yours is, but every single person out there should strive to get one weapon to at least A3, if not A5, mostly A3 though, that being our Plum. This weapon can be used in every single game mode, literally any game mode. It buffs our skills, it buffs our weapon skills, it buffs everything. Please, summon for Plum, A1, A3, just do it, you will not regret it. Such a versatile weapon. And another versatile weapon, I would have to say Moonshadow. Moonshadow is just so good. It provides stacking effects, increasing damage taken on target by a substantial amount, especially as you get dupes in. You can literally clear every single bit of content in the game just by using Moonshadow and Plum. Because our skills deal so much damage now, not our weapon skills, our new rune skills, they all got a huge buff, meaning having a double buff stacking effect is so OP. Remember, once you have the full moon effect applied to the target, you get the lunar eclipse applied as well. This is what provides the damage buff, so if we scroll down right here, full moon stacks up to 3 times, meaning lunar eclipse provides a 15% increase to the target's damage taken, and also the target's dark damage taken by 15%. This is stacked 3 times over, which is insane. So Moonshadow is one of those weapons you do not want to miss out on. At the A3 mark, that means advance of 3, this is where the value really starts to kick in, and at A5 as well, providing a 15% damage bonus to the entire team, every single person. That's why this is used for Guild Boss battles. So Plum and Moonshadow, you cannot go wrong with either of them. All the way to A5, no problem, but with Plum, I would say going up to A3 ASAP is a must. You don't have to get it to A5, not as vital, but A3 for sure, because when a user uses a dash, amplifying draw lasts for 5 seconds, and additionally increases crit damage by 32%. So not only is our A1 bonus better now, but we get a 32% crit damage just by dashing. Oh my goodness, that's why the pros dash, use a skill, dash, use a skill, because we get that damage bonus off, making Plum one of the best buffing weapons in the game. And we have another weapon I do recommend getting to at least A1, that being our Grimoire. At the A1 bonus, you get a 24% increase to elemental weakness damage, perfect for the guild boss, making one of our best weapons to use. Elemental weakness damage is very rare to get, that's why at the A1 mark it's just so good. You don't need it to A2, A3, A4, A5. I would say A1 is good enough to start, then slowly you can build it up, all the way to the A5 mark, increasing damage dealt to frozen targets by 50%. Doesn't apply to every target, but when it does apply, it's very strong. So make sure to go for the A1 mark. That way your guild boss battles become much easier. So I would say starting out, these are your staple weapons, but once you get Plum to A3, Moon Shadow to A3, A5, Grimoire to A1, you can start going for other weapons. You can go for Zeke's Fragment, Plum, and also New Dagger. These are all fantastic weapons. Obviously, Zeke's Fragment, the strongest dark weapon, Phoenix Soul, the strongest fire weapon, and the New Dagger, it is the strongest wind weapon, but if you already have the Demi King's Longsword, I don't feel like you have to summon for the dagger, and if you have your Westwind to A10, you don't really have to summon for either of these weapons. They are obviously stronger now, but you need multiple dupes. You can invest in other avenues for better results, up to you, but I would say for wind, go for the dagger. If you really want to summon for SSR wind weapon, it is the best damage dealing weapon in the game right now. So those should be your weapon priority when it comes to utility and DPS. And also I should mention for the dagger, even Zeke's Fragment and also Phoenix Soul, A3 is basically the minimum where they become very useful and strong. Obviously A5 for those weapons is where they become really OP. So A3 for the DPS weapons, that's generally the best point for them. But you still have the utility weapons here, Grimoire A1, Plum A3, Moon Shadow, A3, even A1, even A5, all works out to be honest. But A1 is what you want for that bonus stacking effect. A3 just makes getting the instances off much easier, getting the full moon effect off, getting the lunar eclipse in, so overall all these weapons you cannot go wrong on. When it comes to Huntsman, Scatty, Vulcan's Rage, and Scythe, these aren't weapons you should really get. It's a waste in my eyes, so don't do it. There is just better SR choices you can make, that way you do not waste your juicy summons. Now, Hunter is very important. I think one Hunter everyone should summon for is Go. He's just a staple, he's a breaker, he's a DPS, he does not die, and he makes one of our DPS Hunters useful, that being Cha. So I would say honestly you can summon for both of them, but you don't necessarily have to. It is recommended though because they work hand in hand. Same with Min. Min at A1 is so good. Once you get him to A1, you can stomp if you want. If you do want to put your other Hunters as priority, A1 as you can see here, 12% crit rate and crit damage bonus, very good, but until the A5 mark, he doesn't have too much of a useful bonus, so that's why I recommend getting him to A1 and then stopping, summon for other Hunters, that way you maximize on your value. And Maylin is another Hunter you should really summon for if you want a very OP support. Her A0 bonus is already very good, a 3 stack effect, when she uses Side Whip or up, providing us 8% defense and attack, so 24% total, 16 seconds, very strong. You don't need her to A1. A1 is for Alicia. A2 honestly for Alicia as well, although she does provide an 8% bonus to everyone, to their attack and defense, but I would say just summon one copy of Maylin. That's all you need in the beginning, but later on, once you have Alicia, if you plan on summoning for her, A1 is really good for the core attack bonus. A2 is not bad, more power gauge, good for the guild boss, but overall you don't have to summon for her all the way to A3. A5 though is pretty good. Basically ultimate gets a double effect, so 8% to 16%, pretty strong, so you can't go wrong with her. Can't go wrong with Min. Actually with Min, A1, good enough, A5 for later on. That's just my opinion of course. Now again, I do want to mention you do not have to summon for Cha, even if you're summoning for Go, even if you're getting Min. You don't have to. What you can do as well is summon for Mireille. Mireille is one of the best DPS units in the game. She can go into any match solo and wipe out the field. She needs no one on her team. She is a dedicated assassin, slicing up everything like their fruit, like their butter. She's just so good at every single advancement, but specifically, I would say her A1 is very strong. Also her A3, very good, but her A2 is basically vital. With her weapon, you can start the match with her ultimate, super good, but A3 as well lowers her cooldowns, gives her a power gauge bonus as well. So A3 is a good point to stop on her if you want to summon further hunters, like let's say Hansame, giving her a dedicated support, or even Cha to mix in with your Go. There are hunters I don't recommend summoning for if you don't have them already, like Choi, like Lim, like Yunho, like Dongsuk. Don't get these hunters, although Choi is used. We do have Anna. Choi is only summoned for because of his weapon at A5, giving us a 20% defense reduction. Anna can do that now for weapon, so Choi really isn't too high up on our rate up list. You'll get a ton of him, trust me, from the 50-50 losses when you don't get your rate of pick. That's how I got mine to 810. Insane, I know, but don't summon for any of these boys right here, just not good. You can summon for Wu. He is a very capable windbreaker. If I just check him really quick, his A1 bonus is pretty good. You can stop right there. You don't need him to A2. You don't need him to A3 right away, but it does help by reducing his cooldowns, making him break much faster. But after that point, you don't need A4, A5, not a rush thing. A1 is good enough. A3 is good enough too. Up to you what you want to do, but don't go too far. You have much better priorities out there. Like again, Hansame, Mirai. For Hansame, if you're wondering, I would go all the way to, let me double check here. I would say A1 is good enough. A3 is pretty good for survivability, but you don't need it. It's not vital. So A1 is already very strong. A5 obviously is OP for win units, but you're not going to rush to that point. So A1 to start out with, that way you get a good win support, and you can start clearing content using Mirai, who you at least get to A2 or A3. But I would say your A5 bonus is a must if you want to dish out massive damage without even trying. And I know we have Yu So-hyun, we have Jiwoo, but right now, these hunters aren't a must. If you have a bunch of copies of Alicia, you can use your Jiwoo. You can put on your rate list, but not vital. You might just get a bunch of copies by summoning naturally, losing your 50-50s. A2 she's pretty good for getting more break off. A3 is pretty good as well for more mana. But I would say for Jiwoo, if you're using her as a breaker, if you have to, A2 is good enough, but you can just use Go. He's more than capable. He spams his skills non-stop. He has a specific rotation where he can get multiple resets off to his core attack and to his Q, his first basic skill. So I wouldn't worry too much about Jiwoo again, just my opinion. Alicia is good as well. You can summon for her. I would say for Alicia, if you want to be able to clear basically all content, when a light weakness comes up, I would say A5, I'm just kidding of course, well A5 is pretty good, but I would say you can go all the way to A2. That way you get bonus frost off, it's very very strong, even A3, but you can't always freeze a target, so it doesn't come in too clutch. A5 is really where she gets OP, but A0 is where she already has a bunch of effects off for a core attack, and A2 just helps that out a lot, so A2 is a very good point. That's where you can stop if you just want to min-max her. But yeah, I would say in the beginning, your priority should be getting Plum and Grimoire to A1 at least, Plum to A3, Grimoire to A1, then get Moonshadow. It's a bit more advanced. It's a fantastic weapon, don't get me wrong. And for your hunters, you can start out with Go, and I would say someone like Cha, just because she works perfectly with him. Then once you get some copies in, you can go for Mirai, then Hansame. That's again my opinion. And once you have your base weapons, you can start subbing them in for weapons like the dagger here, and also Zeke's Fragment or Phoenix Soul, depending on what you need. I wouldn't say you have to rush Zeke's Fragment, even though mine's at well like A8 right now. I don't really use it. So I would say getting a fire weapon would be nice, or instead of rushing, you can just go for 3 hunters. Remember, hunters are used basically everywhere. So you can focus on getting copies of Plum, Grimoire, and also, where is it? Let me just find it here. Moonshadow. Then just start summoning for a bunch of hunters. Hunters do help out a lot more, because when you have Moonshadow and Plum, you can solo basically all content. Again, my opinion, making that known. Though you can't go wrong for the dagger, you can't go wrong for Phoenix Soul, Zeke's Fragment. They're all just really good choices. But again, I do want to reiterate, if you already have the longsword, don't go for the dagger, it's a waste. If you have Weston to A10, don't go for the dagger, it's also a waste. I know it can look appealing to get all the damage in, but you just don't need it. Get some hunters, more valuable. That way you have a good baseline to clear all content in game. And I know I didn't mention Emma just because, I mean, we don't necessarily have to use her. She's good, don't get me wrong. She was amazing in the beginning. She's good for AoE, clears a ton of content by herself. So A2 is a good point for maximum break if you want it for that use. If you want it for damage, you can go for a 3, but overall, when it comes to Emma, I mean, you don't have to put her on your A+, she's good, but a bunch of units can sub in for her. Again, just not a unit we see too much use out of. Fire team units aren't good right now, even with that new Hunter Gina, they're just not too viable. So, hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments or concerns, let me know. These are all strictly my opinions. Your opinions will differ, so drop them down below in the comments and let us know what you think. That way we can all be on the same page, progressing together, because this game is very resource hungry. And let me just do a multi-summon right here. Just one for good luck. I'm gonna skip it. Skip for good RNG. Do we get an SSR? No, we don't. I had to do it, and I always pull West Winds. Let me show you my inventory for anyone still watching. Look at this. Look at my weapon list. Let me scroll down here. Look at all these Westwind copies. It's an endless supply of Westwinds. If you want one, let me know. I'll gladly provide one to you. But yeah, do subscribe. Almost at that 100k mark, growing inch by inch every single day, giggity. And do support us as well for free codes. That way you don't miss out. The link is down below, of course. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. This is your Code King Zaf, signing out.